What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It is I, James, ReadoptionAgency.com. 22 years selling on eBay. Full time. Yes, I make a living on eBay for 22 years. That's why I get so passionate about the problems and the issues. Because it's my living. It's my way of life. eBay doesn't seem to care about people's ways of lives. They have forced me. eBay has forced me. Yesterday I went back to start putting stuff back on Posh. I went ahead and told them to not cancel my Vendoo subscription. And I'm going to start, anything I put up on eBay is going straight over onto Posh. And since I can't move all my items at once, I can do a little bit at a time. When I list something, it'll automatically pop up in the first 48, and then I can move it over. If I end and sell similar, it'll pop up in that 48. Courtney! Then I can move those over. So I'll just start doing it a little bit every day. Maybe give it about an hour a day, moving stuff over, because it's super quick and easy. I spent about an hour and a half to 2 hours yesterday and got about 200 items moved over. So they're forcing me to do something. After the other day, when you thought it couldn't get any worse and it gets the worst you've ever seen it, to not do anything would just make me an idiot. So beyond trying to get the voice out about all the issues and trying to get somebody to pay attention, but get something done, knowing that that's not going to happen, but got to do something. So today I'm going to take a little time to figure out how to be more efficient with Poshmark, because it works for some people, so I got to figure that out. Whether I use that flip thing or whatever, I'm not sure. So I got to figure it out. But, so yesterday on eBay, I ended up going about 3 hours where nothing, as you know, I turned off my sales the night before, or my promotions. Then all of a sudden started having stuff sell. Slow sales throughout the night, which kind of mirrored when my promotions were on a bad day. And then about 10 o'clock or so, 11 maybe, I don't remember exactly. No, it was later than that, I think. Maybe it was 10:30, 11, I don't remember. But anyway, for about 3 hour window, nothing came through. I'm like, all right, it turned back on promotions. And sales started rolling in again, but still didn't hit my bottom line goal, $609. But I didn't expect to, being I had them off and then I turned them on, so there's a change. So, but I've seen several of you guys that say you turn them on just to turn them off, just because you get more sales after you turn them off. So, wonder if that activity stimulates something in the algorithm, since it worked for me and a couple of you guys have said it. So maybe that's a strategy. Turn it on for a day, turn it off for a day, turn it on for a day, turn it off for a day. I don't know. So yesterday made $609 and sold 47 items though, at least. So 20 organic, 27 promoted. Still down about 15%. I always stay in between down 15% and up 15, more like 17. 17 and 17 is where I've been staying, which is weird. I'll go to one extreme, then it'll take me all the way back to the other extreme. So now I'm curious to see if it's going to take me back up or not, which would indicate you're only allotted a certain amount of sales every month. So, I think halfway through the day, I only had 50 impressions on the promoted yesterday. So during the 3 hour shutdown, so I'm like, I got to turn it back on. or I mean page views, I should say, which makes sense. But so this morning we are at 9:10 a.m. 11 sold, 2 organic, 9 promoted, for a total of $119. So that's at least better than the last couple of days. I think it was better than yesterday. Or was it? I don't remember. Anyway, I shouldn't have to be worrying about that stuff. So I am going to start really hammering into cross listing. I'm going to start with Poshmark, and then since everything's on the Vendoo, then I can start putting it on Mercari too. So I do have a Vendoo code down below if you guys want to use it, and I think for the first month you save 25%, I want to say, off your first month. And you can do like a 5-item free thing to play with it, and you can see how quick and simple it is, and then you can bump it up after that. But it's very simple. Like I said, I can do about 100 items in an hour cross listing. It's super simple. And then what I'm doing also too, since I'm being told, and it seems like I'm not 100% on it, that when you end and sell similar on eBay, it will not take it down on Vendoo, which means it won't take it down on Posh. So since it won't do that, as I'm listing, I'm copying and pasting the title back into eBay, and in the SKU where I have the location number, I'm also putting PM, so that then over time, when I do that routine and I see it already has a PM, then I already know it's cross-listed. And then, so when those links are broken where they'll delist automatically, I can go in and delist the things that do sell under PM. So it'll be a little bit of extra work, but if I keep up on it on a daily basis, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So gotta do something. So it's time to commit to doing it. Because I feel just to try to get some extra income, because Bonanza and True Gather are just, they're always just very low. So I figure if I can get a few $100s more a month on Poshmark, that's just going to add to it. So no goals at first, just the only goal is to get as much as I can cross-posted as quick as I can, and to learn how to best utilize Poshmark. So we'll go from there. But today is Friday, so that means 7-day sales. What's the top 5 sales for the past 7 days, and what do the numbers look like? I'm scared to look. They're actually up. Interesting. All right, for the last 7 days, $6,277.57, up 14.1%. Selling cost at 23.3%, so under 25 where I like it. Net sales $4,430, up 16%. Total quantity sold 430 items, up 20.4%. Average sale price down 5.3% to $14.60. So, top 5 items that sold the past week. Coming in at number 5, we got Vinyl Records, $332, up 35%. If you watched yesterday's little short yard sale video, I got about 17 pieces of vinyl there, some R&B and jazz, and the one sold for $40. I didn't do very good at editing. That was my first time trying to do that. So I should be able to do, if I do that, I can do it better next time, I think. So one sold for $40 out of that lot, and one sold for $5 out of that lot so far, that I can recall what was in the lot. There could have been another one or two that I just don't remember. but already made hefty profit on that. Number 4, we've got DVDs and Blu-rays. $365, up 120%. I've been listing a lot more, even the cheap DVDs and Blu-rays lately. So seeing that number jump up that quick is kind of surprising, because I always just laid off the DVDs because they are the slowest sell-through rate. But if they can get into my top 5 in a week, that's saying something, I guess. So, or maybe it's not saying much if you're not within the top 3. Number 3 is always cassette tapes. $698, up 65%. So a nice rebound on cassette tapes. A lot of those sold when I turned the promotion off. There's a big chunk of cassettes, but then I do got cassettes here too. So cassettes have rebounded. I only put up about 10. So it's not like I triggered anything with listing similar style of things. So. Number 2 is always music CDs, $953, up 2%. And number 1, as always, men's hats, $1,122, up 21%. Honorable mention at number 6, we've got men's shoes, $282, down 23.4%. Boom, boom, boom. Questions and comments on the YouTube. And then we ship some items. Got a couple of different items than my normal same olds. All right, James, I love that Gene Simmons. Everybody asks about the Gene Simmons. I do have the box still too. When I worked retail, before I worked for myself, for my downtime, I would hit thrift stores and I would hit clearance. So at Spencer's Gifts, that was in the mall, I'd always go in and buy the clearance, like music-related stuff. They always had a lot of Kiss stuff marked down, so that was part of that. I also had the big bears over time. I had a lot, but it was all sacrificed to start the business, so that stuff was gone early on. I sold that early on, but I've always kept ahead of the bust. Yeah, kept a hold of the bust. Did it more for, well, of course I like Kiss and everything and the music behind it, but more too to kind of give me the inspiration to think outside the box. Kiss was like the first band who really marketed themselves in a huge way when it came to anything and everything. So that bust actually, to me, is more about business than it is about music. And that's why it sits there. Because I've always, just like with any bands or TV shows or, TV shows based on businesses and stuff, I'm always more intrigued about the behind the scenes, the business dealings, the money, the bottom lines and all that stuff, as opposed to just being entertained by the TV show. I'm always trying to dig into the dirt and the details, so. Did you take all sales off as well, or did you not run sales? No, all my sales were still left on. I just turned off the promotions. And then that lasted maybe, 15 hours or so. 12, maybe 17 hours, something like that. 19 hours. Less than 24 hours. I had turned them back on, but sales were always on. I was trying to sort by price, low to high, and that is not working. Not sure what is up there. There's all kinds of little bugs going on. I've made little shorts. I'll probably get them up listed this weekend onto YouTube of issues, but there's so many little issues going on. I personally think promoting on eBay is a complete hustle and scam. Why pay eBay more money to sell? Well, because you won't sell as much. We already pay $12.9 whenever eBay tries to hustle more money with their forms of digital extortion, I'll go Jerry Riggin. The more often than not, F's everything up. It does mess everything up. And I've been saying that whole promoted organic world it's been messed up since they've implemented it, honestly. It's never been consistent. As I've shown and many of you guys have said, you don't get no different results, it seems like, depending on the percentage. And from what I've done, it seems like anything you go over 15%, you actually lose sales. So it's a mess. And it's only a matter of time before it starts coming down onto the head of the CEO. I mean, the more people they get loud about the problems, yes, it may not change nothing on the site, but maybe it'll change something internally in eBay. You know what I mean? Get a tech team that actually knows what they're doing or can do something, or get somebody leading the whole project that won't stop just piling stuff on before things are fixed and just says we'll deal with it later, which I believe, if I remember correctly from Josh's video yesterday, he actually kind of said that the CEO was, I don't know if the CEO said that or was kind of implying throw it all together and fix it later type of thing. So I'm not sure. How much was the Cabbage Patch down? Oh, in that video, everything at that yard sale was overpriced. So it said make offer. I wasn't going to make an offer because their comic books had like, normal high price, $15, $20 on them, and they were even water damaged, moisture damage. And then the pops at the beginning, $25, $50. So I didn't even ask with that Cabbage Patch. It wasn't going to be worth it. Plus they smoked, so I figured all of it's probably got smoke damage too. So the whole yard sale selling like smokers. Really glad this is working out for you, James, with everything that you do for the community. It's about time that you're rewarded more for your efforts. Keep up the great content. You are an inspiration to us and us newly budding YouTubers. Thank you. Yes, if you didn't see my post, 5 days into the whole Jiffy Pack promotion, link below, use Urban Picker to save 10%. $109 I've made in commission from you guys using my link. So, wow, it's crazy. I never even thought of something like that. I mean, I thought maybe, $5-10 in a month, 15 maybe if I'm lucky, but 109 after 5 days, I'm like, wow. But I guess that just kind of goes to show that I did it right. I didn't want to get something that wasn't going to help you guys out also. I wasn't going to be selfish about it. And being it's something you guys can use and save money on, and it's the most cost efficient bubble mailers and polybags that I've found thus far. So I guess that just kind of shows that. You need a haircut, then do eBay videos. You must be jealous because you have no hair. It's okay. Be jealous. The world's a lot better with more long hair people in it. If you ever noticed, not counting like the meth heads and the people who are just all scrubbed out in life. If you look at the politeness of, say, the percentage base of people with long hair compared to people with, say, no hair compared with people with hair, you're probably going to get a high... I could be biased here because I've always had long hair for the most part. You always seem to get more percentage of nice people with long hair than, say, a percentage of people definitely with short hair. I don't know about bald hair. I never really thought about that part in the equation. But I don't know. Like, if I see somebody with long hair, I'm more adept to trust them. Whether it's long dreads, long hair, whatever. It's when you got long hair, real long hair, not fake long hair. When you got real long hair, it's an extension. All right. You can actually go and read about this type of stuff. It's like an extension to nature and the earth. Like, you can feel more with the hair. If you go back and read a lot of the Native American stuff, especially with code breakers and stuff like that, hair played a big part in being one with the earth, if you will. I know it sounds cheesy and corny, but it's basically an extension of nerves. They're dead nerve cells, but it's an extension of nerve cells, and you can pick up more on the energies and such. And so maybe this person needs to grow their hair so they can be less of a judgmental person. Customer service is hired at most companies are hired. Customer service is hired at most companies are hired based on CX experience, not site or company experience. Then you have the diversity hire thing running rampant in companies nowadays with the whole thing. Yeah, and I think the way eBay's set up, they don't appreciate the seasoned reps who stepped out of line, if you will, maybe asked one too many questions, plus they were making more money since they had to cut cost anyway. We can't accept offers tonight. The hustle couple, Dan and Amy, yeah, they told us to wait 12 hours. Yeah, that's one of the videos I took last night. Couldn't accept an offer. So one of the shorts I made last night. Everything on the site is just a bad situation. It makes no sense. It makes no sense just to keep piling junk on and not fixing what's broken. It logically makes no business sense whatsoever. I don't understand the thought behind that process. I really don't. It's like Jenga, playing a game of Jenga. When you start building it to play, you're not going to leave blocks out as you build it up because the whole damn thing's going to fall. You've got to make the foundation solid and make every piece you put on good enough to keep stacking. It makes no sense logically. Not even technologically. It makes no sense. Throw it all in the pot. We'll figure it out later. And in the meantime, we will tax our sellers to the brim to make the money. They're going to lose 50% of their sales, but we're going to gain 25% more money. You know, I mean, not 25, but let's just say they're now trying to push their average up to 15 for a lot of things. So let's just say the average promotion is 12% across the board. Oh yeah, sellers are going to lose, and we as a company, by doing it this way, are going to lose 20%, 25%. On my case, more like 35% of income, but we're going to make it back by taking 12% more from our sellers. Still not going to even out. Hey, I'll go get rhythm. I'm not sure what that means. James, I hate to ask you this, but what is the discount affiliate code for Giro? Don't remember which video you put it on. It's on every video now. Down below every new video since I started talking about it. It's Urban Picker. And you save 10%. I got 2 more yesterday. I was like, woohoo. trying to see if this is spam or if this is somebody actually talking. You get those people who spam, who talk to each other under like 5 different accounts, and they just keep piling up. I go, hide user, hide user. If you ever see those, don't respond to them because I don't pay attention. I just go, hide user, hide user, hide user, hide user, hide user, hide user. So if you respond to any of those goofy spam things, I might accidentally hide you. So don't do that. Okay, this looks like an actual person talking. Okay. I don't know if you get update from Liz Morton at Value Added Resource. I know nothing about that, but I just got one from her with info on Q2 report results. One of the things she pointed out, this also marks the 5th consecutive quarter that active buyers have been lower than they were in Q1 of 2018, meaning not only has eBay failed to hold on to any gains from the pandemic boom, they're significantly lost pre-pandemic growth as well. eBay is simply hemorrhaging active buyers by the quarter. And what they're doing is scaring more away. If you can't, like I see on the message board, one big problem now with the last update on eBay with the app is when you turn it on, it just blacks out and closes. And that's apparently a known problem that they're trying to fix. So if you're a buyer and you're just either trying to get on the app or even the website and you can't even get on it, or you can't check out, or you can't send an offer, you're going to go elsewhere. The attention spans are not there to make people wait for anything nowadays. You have to boom, boom, and work, or they're gone. She included an active buyer number chart, but I can't post that here. So I'll just manually give you the numbers. June 22, 138 million active. September 22, 135 million. December 22, 134 million. March 23, 133 million. June 23, 132 million. And this is only like, it's only a difference of 6 million? That's not hard to get back if you have a working platform to build on. That's not that wouldn't be that hard to get that number back. I asked support about the 50% drop in listing views. They lied to me. I got basically nothing to see here. Move along. Yeah, that's why I think it was a change of some sort. But I'm pretty sure mine's still that way. Yeah. But like I said, the page views haven't really changed for me. So that's why I think it's more of something else changed. It could have been something as taking away a spot where they were using it before, your promoted listings. I mean, I wish it would be on the item pages because I'm tired of all the canceled orders literally seconds after somebody buys something. That's where they need to take the promotions down from. But it could have been an area somewhere on the site where they stopped promoting the ads, and that could have dropped the number because they were just kind of didn't have a good click-through rate. And so they just stopped them there. So your impressions are going to drop, but not necessarily your views. If they're taken down on an area that was not getting no good click-through rates. So that could be a permanent change they made. Just guessing there. That's the most logical sense I can make of the fact that the impressions dropped drastically, but the page views have not. It's about the see, I'm talking too much and I can't think of the word. The quality of the impression. I don't have all my listings promoted, so I'm not sure I can turn mine off to see, but my sales are non-existent this past week. I have been staying very consistent with total impressions and sales for months now. Then suddenly on the 17th of July, my impressions, both organic and promoted, fell off a cliff. I was down 30% on the 17th, 41 on the 18th, 55 on the 19th. They rebounded a bit on the 20th, but I'm still sitting about 40% below where I should be. I have to try something new. It blows my mind that I can be humming along, changing nothing, and then it comes to my routine. And overnight, I'm left baffled. Yeah, and a lot of times the baffling is based off of issues and errors, right? Problems with the website. This one looks like it was a conscious change, being it's been going on so long and hasn't rectified itself back to the old way like the organics were doing. So that tells me it was a conscious change. That being said, with a conscious change, you can, with numbers and over time, with consistency, figure it out. You can, and this is the most frustrating thing about the eBay site, is when things are consistently a one way and it works a certain way, you can figure out how to best utilize that tool, if you will. Promotions is a tool. So if that is a change, and say they got rid of impressions in low quality areas, being that mine didn't change, and here's why I don't think mine changed too much, is because the percentage I promote at, it's higher than normal. It was normally at 15%. Now I think I turned it up to like 12 just to play with a lower number. But at 15, that's higher than normal. So maybe I'm getting better quality placements. You see what I'm saying? Where before they were just throwing everybody into a lot of it into the low quality. So if you have a lower percentage, meaning your number's more competitive, I think, with the other sellers across the board, then I think all your numbers, even your views, are going to go down, because you now all of a sudden are thrown back in with people with more competition, if that makes sense. They're taking the low quality, getting rid of it, so now there's more competition in the higher quality. And if you think about it, that move will drive up their average percentage. So that could be a reason that it was done. All right, all my stuff is theories, so just throwing that out there. It makes sense. All right, I'm going to lay it all out, and then we'll get to shipping. We're brainstorming here. The impressions dropped. My page views have not much, meaning they turned off all the low quality promotion areas to focus it more on the higher click-through promotion areas, which will in turn make more competition, which will in turn drive the percentage up and make eBay more money. Because if you're using dynamic, your dynamic number is going to go up, unless you put a cap on it. I've always used a solid number. It would make sense from the greedy FeeBay way that it has been for the last year or so. It makes sense from my non-tech mind. It makes sense. Whether that's the way it is or not, I don't know. But that's my theory as of right now with the information I have. How about that? Like I said, I'm never ever going to commit to something or say something's right or something's wrong when I don't want to have 100% of the information. Okay. I did ship that there yesterday. Okay. Battle Hymns is the first one. So, all right. Overnight international wise, we got a Poland, we got an Ireland, we got an England. So we at least got 3 overnight. We are at 940. We had one sale. We're at 168 right now at 940. So at least I'm over my low end. But 410, so that's a positive at least. I'm just hoping that they make at least the best judgment at, say, the end of July, the middle of August, they stop and start fixing so they can have the best working website they can for the fourth quarter. If I was doing this chaos, I would hope that who's ever making those decisions at least has the smart to say, okay, and July 31st, we're stopping and we're just fixing and maintaining until fourth quarter is over with. Then we can start up again or whatever. I'm hoping that the person, whoever is in charge with this, at least has that much common sense so that we can all have big fourth quarters. First up, Songs of the Civil War Battle Hymns CD. Sold for $7, headed to Westminster, Maryland. And that's another reason I decided to start cross-listing now too heavily. Hopefully I'll see a big difference come fourth quarter. And it kind of stinks because, and why I say eBay is forcing me, is because with the amount of items I have when eBay is working properly, I don't have time to cross-list. I am selling 75 to 80 items a day. I don't have time to cross-list. But if you're only going to give me 35 to 50 items every day because of all your website errors, well, guess what? That's going to give me time to cross-list. That's the way I'm looking at it. Guess what? You get the site back up working right, and I'm back to selling 80, 90 a day. Guess what? James don't have time to cross-list. So eBay is writing their own ticket there. They're writing their own check. I am basically one person with a little help from Adrian. So I've got a time limit to my day. Praise Worship, Lord of All cassette. Sold for $7, headed to Douglasville, Georgia. So, before all this started, I was headed in a direction I'd never been in before, being that everything was paid off and all this extra money was coming in. And now I basically break even. Some months I'll have a couple of extra $1,000 to play with. 1,000 here, 2,000 there, whatever. Where before this all started 2 years ago, I mean, I was having $5,000 extra a month to play with. You know, that's some money over a year. So, Nancy Wilson, Now I'm a Woman, vinyl, sold for $4, headed to Port Mammoth, New Jersey. So if I have to, grow another site an hour a day, then that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Because they are not giving me the results that they should be giving me. So I've got to make the results myself in other ways. And that's the thing, even my high dollar stuff is not selling. These past 3 or 4 days this has been going on. None of my high dollar stuff is sold. Where before 2 days ago when everything dropped off, my Found on Friday stuff was consistently selling. I haven't sold a Found on Friday item since Tuesday. So we're definitely not shopping today. But I do have that little pile of stuff I haven't listed yet from Found on Friday, so I'm just going to work on that today. So, unfortunately, I've been forced to take a week off. I am in the positive at least a little bit, but it's still the same today as it was Tuesday. So, But I'll put those numbers up this weekend, so shouldn't be too hard of a video since I'm not going out. We got a little sun hat here. So for $9.50, headed to San Antonio, Texas. Texas. And today is Friday, which means my Giro Pack stuff should be here. My bubble mailers. Promotional code below. Urban Picker, 10%. If you need shipping supplies, if you need poly bags, if you need bubble mailers, I want to help a brother out, you can save 10% by using my code and my link. Sound like a commercial. That's funny. But hey, that's all right. It's something we all use, so it's not something you don't need. Did I not pull that? See, I figured there was something I was missing. I looked at that thing twice going, I know I missed something here. Jimmie Rodgers cassette in F79. Let me go pull that since it needs to go right now. D79, Jimmie Rodgers first session. All right, Jimmie Rodgers cassette headed to Chicago. Sold for $8. Oh, Jimmy! Top Jimmy, he's the king. Oh, man. Today is Friday, so I've got to tell myself to slow down. It's the weekend, James. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I just breathe and do what I want. So I got to slow myself down. I didn't even go I only went bike riding once this week because it's been like 101 plus. So I'm like, eh. So, but Friday, slow down. Found on Friday listing stuff. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. It's the weekend. Did I do it again? Yeah. Dude, I knew I was missing some stuff. Shelf 87, Jerry Reed. Just in case I need a light, because my eyes. Jerry Reed, where you at? You know Jerry Reed, right? Eastbound, down, loaded up and trucking. He's gonna do what they say can't be done. He's got a long way to go. I've never really listened to Jerry Reed. Maybe today I'm going to put in some stuff like I've never really listened to. Like I know Amos Moses and I know Eastbound and Down. But I don't know any of these other stuff. I think today I'm going to, like I found myself yesterday because I listened to pretty much the same stuff over, I've got my Spotify playlist. That sold for $7, head to Washington, D.C. And other than one, I've got one playlist that has everything, all kinds of stuff in it. It's probably got Eastbound and Down in it. It'll have NWA in it. It'll have Poison and Nelson and Slayer and Pantera. It has everything in it that I listen to. But most of them, like my heart is with like 80s glam and even a lot of the bands that most people don't know about. McQueen Street, Lillian Axe, the ones that were never big, no beyond the mainstream. Baton Rouge, Babylon AD, DAD, DeMalls. But yesterday I found myself, I'm going, man, why am I hearing the same stuff over and over again? So today I think I'm going to play, this weekend I think I am going to play Diversity with my music, and I'm just going to type in stuff that Jerry Reed's Greatest Hits and put it on and listen to it, and see if I can't find another one in there to throw into my big playlist. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find oddball, skewball stuff. Like I like old school rap, but I've never really listened to Wu-Tang Clan, right? But I've always been saying, man, I need to listen to Wu-Tang Clan. It's a big group. A lot of people love them, but I never put time into listening to Wu-Tang Clan. And I was out of the hood by the mid 90s. So my introduction to rap daily around me stopped at that period, except for the clean stuff we could play in the music store. So I never really got into Wu-Tang and any of those, because I always just after that got into my own little narrow bubble of metal. I guess it ain't really too narrow. There's another piece I didn't pull. What is going on, James? Are those even... Okay, I don't remember that, even seeing this one. So is things coming up? Not on the app? Well, there it is now. There's Jerry Reed. They were all three together, too. How did I miss those? And they were all three together. Did they not show up? Or was I just that out of it? Okay, shelf 90. And that would be all the way on the bottom. That was easy. I like it when it's easy. Boink, boink, boink. The Building of the Gateway Arch DVD. Sold for $5.60, headed to Amboy, Indiana. Like Bone Thugs and Harmony, right? Like I love Crazy Bone and his flow and everything, but I know he's got solo albums out that I never really listened to. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to listen to things like Jerry Reed. You know who I haven't listened to in forever, since I was a kid? That I remember a couple of songs that were kind of catchy as a kid that caught my eye. Sylvia. Now, if you're my age and older, you probably know what I'm talking about with a lot of these artists, especially if you like country also. And then if you like rap also, you know what I'm talking about. Sylvia, country artist. Who was the one that Nobody Called Today or something? You're Nobody Called Today. Was that Sylvia? Yep, Nobody. Okay. You're Nobody Called Today. I don't remember how it goes. It's been so long. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to listen to different stuff today. My ear is ringing like crazy. My mom always said it means somebody's talking about you. Mama always said. I'm going to have fun with music today. I'm going to have fun with listening today. I'm not going to worry about what sells and what doesn't sell. Next up, I love finding just paperwork stuff at the bins and that. We've got the Golden Horseshoe Revenue Sing-Along Pepsi Refreshment Menu. The Golden Horseshoe Review. And it's like a little menu. Pepsi, 25 cents for a large, 15 cents for a small. Diet Pepsi, Mountain Dew. Fritos corn chips, 10 cents. Lay's potato chip, 10 cents. And I guess it's got some lyrics to songs or something. So I love finding stuff like this. I'm not sure if this came from the bins though, or if I had a stack of odd paper stuff, and I'm pretty sure it came from the bins, but sold for $9.50. Headed to Denham Springs, Louisiana. Do I have some that are just onesies? Actually, I could put these in these, couldn't I? That's stiff. Yeah. That's what I got them for, right? Cards. If I can put cards in them, I can put these in them. Yeah. Doink. Everybody's working for the weekend. You want a piece of my heart? You better start from the start. Since I'm not going doing a found on Friday, I'm not sure if I'll even go out to yard sales tomorrow. I will make sure to try to get my St. Vincent bins video posted. I have to break it down into two, but I keep forgetting about it. So. I forgot about them yesterday until I remembered, and then I put up the yard sale one, which nobody really watched. Just a few of them. See, I was hoping those videos would kind of bring in new people and get higher views, but they actually get less views. So that's all right. I enjoy them. I enjoy them, and that's the first thing that matters. Because if you're not enjoying yourself, then it's work. And I'll be damned if I'm ever going to work again. Yeah, I may stand at my computer 10 to 12 hours, but it ain't work. Rather be doing that than stuck in traffic, stuck in a cubicle, stuck in traffic. Having to have conversations with people you just don't like. Alan Edmonds, some shoes. I don't remember if these are bins or what, so I have no clue. Sold for $19, headed to Homestead, Florida. These are some hefty shoes. I'm wondering if I should put these, and they're in nice condition. I think I'm gonna put these in a box and wrap them. I might be able to fit these in a 12 by 6. By 6 by 6. 12 by 6 by 6. Like days like the last 2 days, those are the days where I question myself, and I hate doing that. And I know not to do it. Like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't sell nothing. And then I start questioning what I'm listing, right? And then that slows me down, and then I get nothing listed. So I have to stop that. I just have to know just to keep going. Don't think about it. Just go. You know there's a bigger issue. Don't think about it. Just go. DJ Quick. See, I never listened to that album either. DJ Quick. Never listened to any of his stuff. There's so much out there I haven't listened to. Okay. 2, 12 by 6. Whoops. 6 by 6. Who's some of the other stuff? Do you know the first song I ever learned all the lyrics to was, my parents were country people. My dad was more country. My mom was a little bit of rock and roll, but she listened to country too. But the first song I ever learned all the lyrics to was All the Gold in California. All the gold in California is in a bank in the middle of Beverly Hills. Next up, we've got a repop of a Texaco sign, metal, headed to Leavenworth, Kansas, sold for $6. $6. I'm already hungry today. Why is that? I had a sandwich yesterday. I had 2 sandwiches. I had a sandwich for lunch I made here, and then I had a Firehouse sub for dinner. All right, next up, Tony Russo, Many Times. And Rags to Riches, a little 7-inch 78. Sold for $4, headed to Litchfield Park, Arizona. I forgot to ask Jan if she got approved for vacation time so I can book a cabin. Oh, it went there, so let's just go there. Another heat warning today, it looks like. Heat warning. Tommy growling. It says, next up, we've got, are you ready for 2 people who died this past week? We've got Tony Bennett and Sinead O'Connor together. 2 people I never really listened to, was never really a big fan of. Did Sinead O'Connor write her own songs? I know she did the Prince song, and that was her only, well, at least the only hit I remember. Produced by Sinead O'Connor, produced by Sinead. So she done both of those. She probably wrote her own songs too. Yep, O'Connor, King and O'Connor. So she did. Yeah, let me listen to some of her stuff. And then there's Prince, O'Connor. So yeah, she wrote her own stuff. Much respect there, even if it's not my thing. Much respect if you write your own stuff. Both of these together, $8.38. Plus, since they bought them out and didn't ask for best offer, they get free shipping. Headed to Nasha, New Hampshire. Something of that nature. I don't know what it is with people with my hats. Like, I get so many offers of $5. And I just come back, $5.99. because I don't like going below $5.99. So. Most people accept. Nothing compares to. Next up, we've got. I think I am sold out now. I think somebody bought my last promo single this morning of Sinead. And do I have a dark one? Sinead O'Connor. Staying in the area, headed up to Florissant, Missouri. Sold for $4.20. See, I don't raise prices just because somebody passes away. That's just wrong. At least within the first. You know, I don't raise the prices, but if something goes up in value, of course, and I get it after the fact, then of course I stay with the value of it. But when somebody passes, I don't go in my store and go, oh, Sinead passes, I can make an extra $1 per item. No. I don't do that. Don't play that. All right, next up, we've got a great album, great band, White Lion. So tell me, baby, all through the night that you'll never let me go. Why does he throw the broken ones back up there? I don't get it. I don't understand why he does that. To change it out, just throw the broken one away. Sold for $4.20, headed to Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's plastic, it goes in a recycle. Boom, 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 boom. My booby itches. Boom, 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 boom. Next up, we've got Foreigner, Mr. Moonlight cassette. So for $4, headed to Seymour, Tennessee. Suddenly Seymour. I haven't watched that video or that movie since I was a teen. I vaguely remember it. Little Shop of Horrors. Next up, we've got an Adidas visor. Sold for $9, headed to Pineville, Louisiana. Pineville. I just remember my trip to Louisiana. On the guide trip we went. And we went and did a tour, plantation tour. Try to relive and feel the history, right? And the one we went to was called Destrehan. That was the last name of the people. This is in Louisiana. But their last name who owned it was Destrehan. And the tour lady, she's like, when she found out we were from St. Louis, she goes, yeah, the Destrahans were big in St. Louis too. They moved their way back and forth between here and there, I believe it was. I go, you want to hear something funny? The street I was born on, that I lived on for age 0 to 6 months, was Destrehan. She was like, really? It's like a full circle effect there. Getting history about the street I was born on. Hundreds of miles away. All Pyloric waves. Pyloric waves. Something. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Sold for $5.50. And I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Schenectady, New York. Schenectady, New York. Something. Who knows? Why did they come up with these names? Good Lord. Let's find the history of that name. That's my favorite thing. My favorite thing is history, man. If you don't know history, you can't. Especially nowadays, in today's time, like everybody who wants to use the word racist so consistently and just water it down, but yet they have no clue of the real meaning and the real emotion behind that word. And if they did, they would not use it so freely. The same with Nazi and stuff like that. Like if people understood the history and really dug into it and really understood and got into the emotional part of the history, they would not use those words so freely as they do. Lack of education, ignorance, and without that, you're doomed to repeat, and you can't grow. You have to know that stuff to really, I don't know. Yeah, what they said, cha-ching. Okay, next up we've got, are you ready for a Bud Light lot? Yeah, 2 Bud Light hats. I'm headed to the UK, sold for $17.06. Bum, 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 bum. Like somebody, I had raced a post the other day because I was making kind of a joke about the whole song that some people are in an uproar over, Jason Aldean or whatever. And somebody said it's racist, and I just deleted the whole post. I'm like, you're not using that word so freely here. Nothing in that song indicated in any way of anything racist. It showed white people doing damage. It showed black people doing damage. It's, there's black people that live in small towns. There's white people that live in small towns. If you think that song's racist, chances are you may want to look in the mirror, because then you're the one pigeonholing the details of that song that do not exist. You're creating something that's not even physically there. And this is my opinion. So if you don't agree, that's fine. That's what America's all about. But I just don't like the use of those words so freely, because I've seen firsthand. I grew up in the 80s in a well-diverse neighborhood, so I've seen firsthand what racism really looks like. And not just even to black people, to myself, coming from black people. So I've seen both directions and lived both directions. So I understand what the meaning behind it is. And so many people who've been so sheltered their whole life want to throw something around that they have no clue about. And that kind of gets me upset. So, because unless you lived, to me, if you use that word too freely, you're disrespecting people of the past who had to live in a racist world. And last thing I want to do is disrespect anybody who's had hardships and disrespect them based on my ignorance, That's the last thing I want to do. That's what young adolescent minds do. That's probably what I did when I was a teenager, right? You don't care. You're just whatever type of thing. But thankfully, people grow and learn and mature, if you will. Kind of mature, at least mature intellectually. You don't have to mature emotionally or never stop feeling like a kid, but at least mature intellectually. That's a good one. I like that. What they said again, cha-ching. Yeah. Keep it coming. Make it rain. Ooh, did I actually sell a Found on Friday today? Holy crap, I did. Woohoo! You want a sneak peek? It's right here, I think. This was a Found on Friday, wasn't it? I believe so. The brand new old stock Memorex radio. Looky there. Sold for $36. Biggity bam. Oh, look what just sold. That cha-ching? How many of you remember my huge smooth jazz canceled cruise jazz lot thing that I bought? All the hats and shirts. I sold another shirt that I was told many times that I made a mistake doing, but it's made me money here and there. I'm in the profit on this stuff. So now it's just all trickle in money. So a nice little $10 bill there. All right, get these. All right, The Edge Captive. So we got The Edge soundtrack. Sold for $5. Headed to Ireland. But yeah, I love like history and individual stories. Like if everybody in life could have wrote an autobiography, I'd probably spend most of my days reading all day, every day. Just common people autobiographies. Just to see how somebody lived or how they came up or what they had to struggle with or even what they didn't have to struggle with. You know, I just love, is there a word or a term for that? Like loving independent history or individual history of just a common person. If there's not a word for that, I need to create a word for that. Yeah. All right, so for $5. And of course you want a code. Boom, 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 boom. With that being said, the people who probably think that that small town song is wrong, probably never even been to a small town. Like I've lived in a small town with my brother for about 6 months, and we used to always visit there. But I would ride my bike around the small town, and I mean, it was literally a small town. And everybody looked out for everybody, no matter who they were, no matter what nationality, what color they were, what sex they were. Everybody literally looked out for everybody in that town. And I was new. Nobody knew me except that who my brother was. But everybody always looked out for me riding my bike around. And I was 14 at the time. And I'd ride 10 miles a day, probably like 3 miles into town. Then I would drive, or I'd be riding my bike all around town, just interacting with everybody. And then take the long way back, which would probably turn into like 5 miles on dirt, gravel roads, riding my bike. I remember so many people, they'd be in their pickup trucks. Grab on, I'll take you down the highway. I'd grab on, we'd be flying through town. I'd be holding on to their truck. But everybody always looked out for everybody. So it was cool. Cool little environment. Nothing I'd want to live in, but it's because it's boring as hell. But because after about a week, you've done everything there is to do, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go back to the city. All right, I had this cassette, some international, the Long Island Chamber Ensemble of New York. Sold for $7. Headed to Poland. After you learn in a small town like that, if you learn about everybody and their normalities, I guess, their daily goings, then it gets old and stale. And you're like, I know what's going to happen today. I can predict what's going to happen today. I'm ready to go. So I lived down there like 6 months. It got old. All right, $6.99. Another number. Boink. Actually, I think neighborhoods need to be more like that again, like the whole small town scenario. Like, don't try that in my neighborhood because we're all sticking together type of thing, you know? If the world, if the country had more of that, they had, instead of don't try that in a small town, if you duplicated that and said don't try that in my neighborhood, I think if somebody remade that song and turned it into a neighborhood song, it might start changing things. Things might start changing a lot quicker than they already are. They're not changing very quickly, not quickly enough. It's actually going the opposite direction. So I think if somebody made the song "Don't Try That in My Neighborhood," it might spark some change. Just thinking, as always. All right, that is all. Everything is except for what's sold. Let me see where we're at. We're at 10:23 a.m. I'm at $228. So I am happy with that compared to where I've been the last couple of days. So happy about that. Again, thanks everybody for the Giro Pack stuff. As I said, that's just awesome that you guys are buying your supplies through my link. Totally appreciate it. And as always, we'll talk about eBay and we'll talk about whatever's on my mind, because I'm just going to be real about everything and not going to be one of those people who hold back just because something shouldn't be talked about or some people don't want to talk about, or I just try to make common sense out of everything and add my own personal experiences onto it. So that's what life's all about. Enjoying everyone's differences, enjoying everyone's individuality, their experiences, hearing their stories. Because at the end of the day, good people love good people. Period. Boom. And on that note, I'll see you all in the next video. Later.